Dancehall artist suspect in murder case while Jamaica bar suggests minimum sentence for only repeat offenders. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. The Jamaica Bar Association is suggesting that the mandatory minimum sentence for murder should only be applied to convicted children who are repeat offenders. Speaking Tuesday at a meeting at the Joint Select Committee examining the Criminal Justice Act of 2023, JAMBAR President Alexander Williams said that the association believes judges' discretion in these matters is important to the effective functioning of the judicial system. He also maintained that the position of the association is that there should be no mandatory minimum sentence for children, but an exception could be made in the case of those young offenders who repeatedly find themselves before the court. Meanwhile, a St. Anne farmer accused of hitting a bartender with a gun and beating another patron at a bar has been charged. The incident reportedly occurred in October of 2022. Charged with illegal possession of firearm, assault at common law, unlawful wounding, and assault occasioning grievous bodily harm is 34-year-old Andre Phillips of Woodstock District in Claremont in the parish. Reports from the Claremont police are that about 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, October 8, Phillips ordered a drink at a bar and paid. The operator of the establishment left, and upon her return, she was reportedly attacked by Phillips, who flung a glass bottle at her and then pulled a firearm from his waistband, which he used to hit her on the head. The bartender fell to the ground and was reportedly kicked all over her body. Phillips then allegedly proceeded to point the gun at her, however she managed to escape. A man who was also in the building was beaten with the gun and injured. The matter was reported to the police and an investigation was launched. Phillips was arrested during a targeted operation on Friday, June 9th and was charged on Tuesday, June 20 after an identification parade, and his court date is now being finalized. Police investigators have made a major breakthrough in the investigation into the recent attack on armored carriers. A St. Catherine man is facing several charges under the new Firearms Act, the anti-gang legislation, and other laws in relation to the attack on beryllium security officers that took place in St. Thomas on Saturday, April 29th. 28-year-old Javon Bashford, otherwise called Bashi, of Mandock Avenue, Big Lane in Central Village in St. Catherine, has been charged with wounding with intent with use of a firearm, robbery with aggravation, shooting with intent, 2 counts of using a firearm to commit a felony, possession of prohibited weapon, and unauthorized possession of ammunition, and about 10 more charges, too numerous to mention. About 10:53 a.m. on April 29, the beryllium officers entered the compound of a service station to carry out maintenance duties when they were attacked by a group of armed men who opened fire at them. One of the security officers along with a bystander were shot and injured, and a bag containing over 100,000 was also stolen from the beryllium truck before the men managed to escape in a motor car. Dancehall artist Jashi surrendered himself into the custody of the Constant Spring Police Station in the company of his attorney, King's Counsel Peter Champagne, and Richard Lynch early yesterday afternoon. And it's understood that the entertainer, who was wanted by police for questioning in relation to the death of a businessman in Granspin earlier this month, was interviewed and released. And it emerged last week that Jashi could have information about the death of 45-year-old businessman Omar Romy Wright. Reports are that Wright was killed on Shortwood Road about 10:40 p.m. on June 7 by armed men. And there are reports that Josh's mother, who operates a wholesale business in the area, had an altercation with Wright during which he threw water in her face. And it's rumored that Joshi, whose real name is Meloke Tafari Clark, then reportedly argued with Wright about the incident, and Wright was gunned down just hours later by persons unknown. And since the murder of Romy, the Granspin community has been tense as the businessman is the brother of an alleged don in the area who claims that he's taking revenge. Police are trying to determine the reason behind the killing of a man outside a pub on Mac Corner in Palmer's Cross in Clarendon on Wednesday. The dead man has been identified as 31-year-old Rohan Lewinson, otherwise called Headman, from Kennedy Lane in Palmer's Cross. And it's reported that about 8:06 p.m., Lewison was sitting under a tree on the roadway outside the pub when a motorcar drove up and several armed men alighted. Police said the men opened gunfire at the now deceased, hitting him several times and killing him on the spot. Authorities were summoned, and on arrival they found Lewison's lifeless body lying face down on the ground with what appeared to be several gunshot wounds. The scene was processed and the body taken to hospital, where it was confirmed that he died. It was then transported to the morgue pending a post-mortem examination. Police said they are now looking into several possible theories surrounding the killing, but so far no suspect has been identified. A woman has been charged with the shooting death of a car salesman in Montego Bay, St. James on Monday, March 15. The deceased has been identified as 42-year-old Robert Harvey, otherwise called Priest, a tour guide, driver, and car salesman of Bogue Hill in Montego Bay in the parish. Charged with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and misprision of a felony is 28-year-old Tiandra Reed, a saleswoman of Upper King Street in Montego Bay, St. James. Reports are that about 5:45 p.m., Reed contacted Harvey via cell phone and told him she had an interest in a vehicle he was selling. And while waiting, Harvey was reported pounced upon by armed men in a Toyota Corolla motorcar with Reed aboard. The men reported open gunfire hitting Harvey before escaping in the area. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, Harvey was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. An investigation was conducted and Reed was arrested on Tuesday. On to sports, St. Kitts and Nevis took the difficult route to their first ever group stage of the CONCACAF Gold Cup when they held their nerve just long enough to beat French Guiana on penalties on Tuesday. Playing in the final qualifier of the evening at the DRV-PNK Stadium, St. Kitts converted all 4 of their penalty kicks while French Guiana missed twice. The Eastern Caribbean side booking their spot in a difficult Group A against host United States Caribbean powerhouse Jamaica along with Trinidad and Tobago. There was disappointment for Guyana as they slumped to a 2-0 defeat to Guadeloupe as well. Guadeloupe will now play in Group D alongside Canada, Guatemala, and Cuba, while Martinique will campaign in Group C with Costa Rica, Panama, and El Salvador. And of course, Jamaica will clash with the USA in the first game of the Gold Cup on Saturday at 9:30 p.m. And if you ever missed the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube and type in Jamaican Undiluted News. Listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. My name is Mikey Bones. Have a wonderful day, everyone. I gone.